Today on The Young and the Restless, Victor lays down the law, Victoria confides in Nate, and Nikki tries to escape. At the club bar, Victoria confronts Nate about avoiding her and supposes he no longer wants anything to do with her. Just tell me that it's over. Nate denies he's avoiding her, but she complains it's been radio silence. Nate needed time to figure things out and get his mind around that whole clown show with her father. Victoria just needed to know if there was still a chance. She wants to get a drink and have a conversation. Nate assures her friendship is still on the table. Victoria tells him she's still in the same kind of limbo he's in, though she hasn't quit her job yet. Nate asks her not to do that on his account. Victoria explains it wouldn't just be that. Nate recaps that she backed Adam and fed Victor's belief that he was trying to undermine him. He insists he didn't have an agenda and is tired of having to defend himself. Victoria says her life is a muddled, confused mess, and she has no one to talk to about it. I miss talking with you. I miss your wisdom and your kindness and compassion. Nate misses her too, but isn't sure he can be there for her right now. She wasn't there for him. Victoria presses him to grab a drink and talk. At Claire's aunt's house, Nikki lies unconscious in a bed covered by a blanket. Claire opens her eyelid with her hand and holds up her smartphone to gain access. She texts Victoria, Victor, and Nick to let them know she's spending the night at Claire's Aunt Jordan's house. Kyle pays Audra a visit at Newman Media and complains she didn't reply to this text asking to meet. Audra is busy with Nikki away and teases that she decided to make him wait. Kyle explains it's not personal, it's business. I'm having second thoughts about going after Jabot. He doesn't think he can betray his family to get a position of power. He will have to find some other way to get there. Audra fumes, you won't get there, Kyle. She reminds him he was gung-ho and asks what's changed. Kyle made that decision out of anger. He won't be able to live with himself if he goes down this road. Audra understands his misgivings but promises his doubts will vanish if he takes control of Jabot. I know much more about these things than you do. She purrs about how intoxicating the power will be. Kyle tells her to stop. He wants the position, but he wants his father to give it to him the right way. Audra sneers, "You're a fraud." Tucker warned her. She had more faith in him than he actually deserved. At Newman Enterprises, Victor updates Nick and Adam that Victoria has threatened to walk away from the company if he offers Adam a position of power. Adam asks why they're wasting each other's time. Nick tells him to stop talking and listen for once. Adam figures he's done at Newman Enterprises. Victor surprises his son by saying he told Victoria if she insisted on demanding that she would no longer have a job at the company. Adam asks if this is another game or contest. What hoops have you arranged for me to jump through this time, Dad? Victor says the game is over and Adam won. He came up with a plan to support both him and the company. Nick rolls his eyes as Victor says he appreciates it. If Victoria disagrees, she can take a walk. Adam gulps, wow, he's a little surprised he would throw over the golden child for him. Victor insists there's no angle. He wants the family to work together. That's all he's ever wanted. Adam is as much a part of the family as Nick and Victoria, and that will never change. If Victoria doesn't like it, she can take a walk and he won't stop her. Adam notes that Nick's been quiet and invites him to let him have his take on all of this. Nick declares that he doesn't like any of it, starting with Victor faking a mental decline, which says a lot about his transparency and trust in them. Victor has made his reasons for it clear. Nick still doesn't like it. He also doesn't like that Victoria feels she has to walk away from the company because Adam's weaseled his way back into a position he does not deserve. He'll try to convince Victoria to stay, but when it comes to Adam, that's on Dad. If it was up to him, Adam wouldn't be in the office or building right now. Victor says he did what he did to bring the family together. Do you know how powerful we'll be if we all work together? Nick wonders if he expects them to just live happily ever after. Victor hollers, that's up to the three of you. Adam assumes that Nick will replace Victoria if she walks, and he will replace Nate as COO. Victor asks if that would be all right with him. Adam nods, Mum. Nick wonders what happened to Adam working his way up from the bottom. He guesses he didn't mean that and notes he was right about that too. At the lake house, Claire walks out of the bedroom and closes the door. Nikki comes to and tries to sit up, but the room sways. She looks around and calls, Claire, where are you? Trying again to sit up, she slowly eases herself out of the bed. Unsteady, she calls out for Claire again and asks what's happening to her. Nikki makes her way to the door, but it's locked. She calls, "Claire, what's going on? Where am I?" She starts looking for her purse and her phone, but they're nowhere to be found. Holding her head, Nikki tries the window, but it's locked too. She bangs on it, shouting, "Please, somebody help me." Downstairs on the sofa, Claire sips water and listens to Nikki. In the jazz lounge, Victoria thanks Nate for sitting down with her. He asks what's been going on. She complains, "Chaos as usual," and says Adam is the man of the hour. Nate chirps, "You backed him up." Victoria refers to Nate nearly committing Victor, and Nate complains that she still believes him. Victoria regrets siding with Adam. Nate asks if he's been promoted. Victoria confirms that her father wants to bring him back into the fold in a high position, but she threatened to walk. Nate thinks that was foolish. At Newman, Adam asks if Victoria stays on, will Nick take Nate's COO position? What will become of him? Victor assures him they'll find something for him that suits his proclivities. Nick asks, what would that be? Common in residence? Adam will accept it no matter what it is. Nick fumes that Adam only cares about gaining power. Victor is sick of the bickering. They will both do their best to convince Victoria to come back to the fold. He reminds Nick he doesn't have a choice. "I call the shots. No one else. If any of you don't like it, you can walk. I'll replace all of you." At the lake house, Claire reads a text on Nikki's phone from Victoria that says she's glad Nikki's taking time for herself. Nikki keeps knocking on the bedroom door and calling out, "Why are you doing this?" In the bedroom, Nikki flashes to arriving at the lake house and being served the drugged tea by Claire, who said, "Soon, everything will be as it should." She asks, "But why? Why is this happening?" She then realizes it doesn't matter why. Getting out of there is what matters. She can't break the window. It's too far a drop. Pacing the room, Nikki starts to cry but thinks that she needs to stay calm. At Newman Media, Kyle thanks Audra for showing him her true colors. She sneers that this is how life works outside of the Abbott cocoon. Kyle notes that her relationships are all transactional and feels sorry for her. Audra tells him to save it. He wants to have all the power and prestige but doesn't have the guts to fight for it. Daddy might get mad. Kyle volleys that at least he has people who care about him. Who does she have? Tucker? He wouldn't sacrifice a thing for her. Audra snaps that at least he's a man who goes after what he wants. Kyle says that when he walked in there, he wasn't sure what he wanted. As soon as he showed emotion, she turned on him. Audra doesn't have time for emotion. Deal with it. Kyle is sorry for wasting her time, and mine. He walks out and she slams the door. In the jazz lounge, Nate tells Victoria that Adam will win if she leaves. Where would she go? What would she do? Victoria feels she'd have plenty of options. Nate urges her to think about the bigger picture. Adam will report to her and Victor will eventually retire again. If she's not there, Adam will run the company and she'll have handed him the keys to the kingdom. Victoria tells Nate that idea of working with Adam makes her stomach turn. Nate says she'll have to stay one step ahead of him. Victoria's not sure she can do it again. She thanks him for listening. Nate cares about her and wants to see her happy and successful. Victoria thinks this sounds like a breakup line. Nate assures her feelings don't just go away. Victoria asks, "What about you?" Nate has something in the works. It's big, actually. There are some obstacles to overcome, but in the end it will be worth it. Victoria asks, "What is it?" Nate won't jinx it by saying anything until it happens. Victoria asks for a hint. Nate muses, "All I can say is I'm going home. My advice to you is to do the same." Just then, Adam and Nick appear. Nick says he can see Victoria's made peace with Nate. How nice of her to give him the benefit of the doubt after what he tried to pull with Dad. Victoria says, "Not now, Nick." Nate stands up and tells Nick he has no idea what his intentions were. Nick knows exactly what he was hoping to get out of all of this. Adam adds, "More importantly, so does our father." Nate leaves and Victoria's brothers tell her they're there to talk about their family. In his office, Victor reads Nikki's text message from earlier and calls her. He gets voicemail and says he misses her already. He wants her to relax and enjoy her time with her assistant. "I miss you, my baby. I really am lonely without you." Kyle arrives home to a text from Audra saying she handled things poorly and asking him to call her. He shakes his head and pours a drink. In the lake house, Nikki goes to take a sip of water and worries that it's drugged. She can't take the chance. She opens the drawer to search for something that will help her pick the lock. Finding a nail file, she tries it. It breaks off. Nikki tells herself to keep it together. Victor will look for her. She realizes Claire took her phone. Claire's voice comes through the intercom and Nikki shouts, "Why are you doing this to me?" She implores, "What do you want? Why are you doing this?" Claire replies that there's water on the nightstand and more in the drawer. There are cans of food and a can opener in the armoire. I promise you it's all safe. Nikki asks why she would believe her and warns she won't get away with this. My sister is expecting me. Claire grins, no she isn't. You made it very clear you were surprising her. Claire tells her she has to get back to Genoa City to make all the other arrangements. She assures Nikki she'll be with the rest of her family soon, so there's no need to panic. Nikki says, "You leave my family alone. You stay away from my family." Claire